ready.
High
He was ready.
Late? He was late? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. By all means, step out if it's like that. Snakes? You got snake problems?
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News.
You didn't say hi.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Yesterday, Monday, we had talked about some guys starting the 21-day window. Are those guys still on target? Overshown, Revel, and those kinds of things?
Yep, and Cooper, Beebe. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to getting them back out there. I know they got big smiles on their faces.
We've talked a lot about the trades around here, and you've been coordinator for a long time now. In this seat that you're in, how much are you involved in those discussions, or are you like, hey, just let me know if you got something?
Yeah, I mean, my focus is on the Broncos and coaching the team, and there's always going to be speculation this time of year, and I get that. And I talk to Will, Jerry, and Steven every day, and they keep me up to date on things that potentially. But, yeah, right now my focus is on trying to go into Denver and find a way to beat a really, really good football team.
Clarence Hill, DLLS. How you doing, Coach?
Good. Good change-up. I like that. Sorry, Todd.
Diggs here in protocol. Where is he?
Yeah, he's in the building, in protocol, just going through the necessary steps to try to get out of protocol.
Obviously, 3-3-1, up and down season. What do you do to get the consistency? You haven't really won. The Cowboys haven't won in Denver since '95. Clearly, you're trying to string back-to-back good games together. What's the key?
Yeah, well, again, starts with today. Good meetings, good energy this morning. Talked to the guys a little bit. I guess it was more the offensive guys, just out there at walkthrough. But yeah, we got to sustaining success and putting together a streak. It's like we've done with the ball security and taking care of the football, and 4 straight games without giving it away. Well, and 3 straight games, I guess, or 4 straight games creating a takeaway. We have to do that with wins. You got to put together streaks of wins. You can't win, lose, because what you're looking at when you do that is 8 and 9, 9 and 8, whatever. With 17 games, it's a little harder to do the math for me. But it starts with today and the prep for today. And I'm not surprised that, this is a tough place to go and play. I mean, it's a good football team. They're well coached. They're talented. Sean's obviously a championship coach. And, I've played a number of games there. And, Denver haunts the Schottenheimers in some regards. So I don't want to go back to whatever it was. Whatever year it was bad. But, yeah, the old fumble and Jeremiah Castile. But, yeah, it's a tough place to play. The fans are made. But I told the guys today, I said, hey, I love going there because it's going to be loud and crazy, and that's what you want.
How do you prepare for that altitude?
Really, there's not much you can do. Big thing for us is focus on hydration. Hydration is real, and the trainers and those guys are all over it just with the things that you can do. And, we're not a team that goes out there, a couple days early or anything like that. You go out there, you play the game, and, we'll have oxygen and stuff ready for those guys. It's a little different, but I don't want to overstate it. I just want the guys to do what they can control, which is hydrate.
Brian Schottenheimer with ESPN. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Suck-ups over there.
Yeah, I know. That's your thing. You should have patented it. You Yeah.
You first one to say.
Anyway, when you go to Denver, obviously they have the incomplete thing. You go to Pittsburgh, they have Renegade that they play. Do you prepare your team for that stuff just to know what they're going to hear when you've not been to a place like that?
No, the Renegade thing, I laugh because, and you actually, if you're going to ask the question, you should say how they say it. The fans, they say incomplete, So I've heard it a lot in my life. But the Renegade thing, I laugh because we were playing I was with the Jets coordinator. We were playing out there like week 15, and Braylon Edwards was on our team, and he knew it was coming. He's like, oh, you guys wait till you see this. And so we kind of looked up there. Next thing you know, all of our offensive players are watching. It's like Troy Polamalu, big hits, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount. And it was kind of a distraction. So I did think about that. But, no, not really. I mean, we'll play, like sometimes you'll play certain songs and stuff. Like we play Renegade when we go back to Pittsburgh last year. We did it. Mike and those guys did it. But, it's the process is the same, whether they're loud, whether they're not loud, which they'll be loud. The process is more about us and focusing on us.
With Overshown and the rehab that he's gone through, 3 torn ligaments you don't see. There's guys who never come back from things like that. When you were in his office, what did you see from him in the spring, maybe on the field? with Britt doing all that stuff?
Yeah, I just saw a guy that every day attacked the day, worked his butt off, and they were doing something simple last week with Britt, where they were doing like single leg jumps, man, and like this guy was, well, number one, the zero looked sweet, but like he had the headband around his neck, that looked cool, and like, but like honestly, the explosive power that he can generate, and where he's at. You know, I just love the kid, man. His mindset, you know, he's never had a bad day. He's been dialed in on getting back. He's had a vision of what it's going to look like, and he's just that much closer to getting back out there and playing in games. But we'll see, you know, how he does today, and there'll be a ramp-up period. But like I said, I'll keep saying we're getting close.
And then, on the road, it's 40 points a game at home and 24 and a half on the road. How do you close that discrepancy? Do you put anything on that?
No, not really. I mean, execution, you know, sometimes it's third down. You know, Carolina was the run game, you know, different things, you know, that you have to look at. And we know what we're capable of. And, again, I think it just, you know, it comes down to execution. And this big push for us this week is going to be about fundamentals and techniques, and that'll start today with, you know, the padded work that we get in there today. And this is a very, very physical football team that we're getting ready to play. You know, Sean and that offense loved to run the football, and obviously had a huge comeback win against the Giants. And on defense, they lead the league in sacks. You know, Nick Bonito and Cooper and those guys are outstanding edge rushers. And if Surtain's not the best corner in football, he's certainly in the discussion. So talented, so poised, and you know, they're really good, but they're very physical, and that's why we need the padded work today.
John Machota with The Athletic. With Kenny Clark and Kenneth Murray, what do you expect them to be able to do, if anything, today?
Yeah, they'll do some things. Again, I think, you know, we'll see how they feel. That's the other thing you do, you know, John. You kind of get out there and see how they feel. We'll be smart with Kenny. He's a little sore. Certainly some Indy, but, you know, we'll see how they do. And I think K9's feeling pretty good as well. So we'll get a feel. Mostly those guys get out there a little early, warm up, see how they feel, and then we'll adjust off of that.
And then with J.W. Clowney, he talked after the game about kind of his ramp-up process and getting back into football shape. And obviously he played well in that game. Just what have you seen from him since he's been in the building in terms of, you know, getting himself into that type of shape, not having a training camp?
Yeah, I've just seen the twitch that I remember. I felt that last week in practice, watching him. Let's be honest, the guy didn't have a training camp. He didn't have an off-season program, and I think it's amazing that he's been here, 3 weeks, and he performed the way that he performed last week. It shows you he kept himself in shape. He looks great. But I noticed it, and I noticed it incrementally throughout the week of, you know, weeks where you're like, okay, yeah, it looks good. Oh, I like that. Okay, now that's what I remember seeing from him. So, and he performed well. And he needs to do it again this week for us to have a chance to win.
Nick Harris for Star Telegram. Going back to this being the time of year where trade discussions are talked about with Will and his staff, what does their process look like around this time of year, and how does that help you be able to focus on Denver?
Yeah, they monitor everything. I mean, Will and I have touch point meetings basically every day in the AM and in the PM, and we just talk about different things. And it's not just the trade deadline; it's our roster, and obviously we got a lot of moving parts and a lot of people banged around, which everybody does this time of year. But the biggest thing that, you know, I pride myself on, and Will and Jerry and Steven are really this way, is the communication. You know, just because you're in the same building, you still have to work at the communication piece. And I've been in buildings where that doesn't happen. You know, I've been on teams, really good teams, where the head coach and the general manager never talked. You know, that was San Diego, a really good football team that basically got dismantled because of that. So we go out of our way to communicate, and we talk about different things. And, you know, they ask questions about the game plan, and I ask questions about, you know, potential personnel things. And but it's very normal. Like, you guys get excited about this time of year, but for us, it's what we do, and it doesn't change. I know there's a deadline coming up a couple weeks away, but our process is very much the same.
And with Javante Williams, when he was free agent over the offseason, what about his time in Denver, and specifically last year, wasn't his best season in Denver? What did you guys see that made you guys want to target him in free agency?
Yeah, I mean, just the suddenness, the ability to jump cut, the way he would run through contact, you know, yards after contact, to me is a big thing for running backs. I like big backs, you know, I really do. I think it's that type of league right now with how everything is, played and physical. And but you do see a guy that creates explosives, and I think why does he do that? Because he doesn't hesitate. And it jumped off the film, it wasn't, again, something that they felt like, but we knew it was something that we wanted to add to our team.
Patrick.
I caught it. Yeah. I actually started to sing the rap song. I got it. Yeah, Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big backs. No, some people just got it. In the back. Yeah. Leave it to my man right there. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to follow up with. Yeah, you get 2 questions.
Oh gosh.
All right, Coach. So, good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. I too like Big Back. So going to George Pickens really quickly. A lot of the conversation with him, rightfully so, has been the production that he has for you guys, and also locker room etiquette, joining the brotherhood, and so forth and so on. The DPI component of it. So I'm going to throw some stats at you from his DPI component. And I'm just curious as far as your take. So he's drawn 4 defensive pass interferences. That's second only to Jamar Chase. 116 yards gained that you guys have gained on his DPI penalties, first in the league. And 24 points scored on drives in which he's drawn a DPI. Would you talk about the reaction to those types of numbers and just the value that he brings, not only on the general stat sheet, but in plays like that where they impact the drives positively for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think, he's a tremendous weapon because of his size. And, I think maybe most fans that don't have a chance to be around him like we do, all of us in here, you don't realize how big and long he is and all that. Again, he's a guy that if you're not combative with down the field, he's almost impossible to cover on those 50-50 throws. I think there's huge momentum swings for us when that happens. I know I feel that way. You throw a go ball down there and he catches it, you're excited. But if he doesn't catch it and you see a flag, you're just as excited because it's normally going to be a PI penalty and not an illegal contact penalty. But that's who he is. But, what I'm most excited about is how much fun he has playing the game. And, I got home late last night, and I guess he was mic'd up, which I don't know who decided to have him mic'd up, Tad. That's interesting, but probably like micing me up. But, just how much fun the guy has playing the game. And our guys feed off it. Our guys were very loose in that last game, and that's what we're trying to bring, whether you're playing in Denver, whether you're playing last week at home against Washington. Sunday's your day to have fun and to not try too hard and to fly around and to play free. And I felt really good after pregame warmups because of how loose our team was and confident.
Second question, to the guys that are coming back, obviously there's a lot of expectation on Overshown to try to hit the ground running as quickly as he can. Can you guys talk about just the balance of his expectations, his potential, but also just the grace of understanding the injury he's returning from?
Yeah, I don't put expectations on him that can come even remotely close to the expectations he has for himself. He's that type of young man. He lives his life that way. It's not just football. He lives his life as a dad like that. He does all that stuff. And I just want him to focus on his preparation. I want him to focus on having good practices, stacking good practices. Because when you get out there and play, man, he hasn't forgotten how to tackle. He hasn't forgotten how to rush. He hasn't forgotten how to cover. Those things are going to happen. But for us to say that you watch him today and some of the things that we do, he's going to look like he maybe did when he was starring at Texas or his first couple years with us when he was playing great, it is a process. And so we're there to support him. And if he does have I'm not saying he's going to, a average or below average practice, there's no panic on my face. I'm great. I can't wait. I'm just happy to have you out here. And I think that's what these guys want from us.
Babe.
Babe Loffenberg, 105.3, The Fan, Cowboys Radio. Brian, so, you get a game, Buffalo, Kansas City, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. They never take the field at the same time, but we bill it that way. With you going against Sean Payton, who's recognized as, one of the great play callers, offensive minds, da-da-da, do you take that as a personal challenge going against the other guy, even though, again, you won't be calling plays against his defense per se?
Yeah, I don't think so. Sean is a guy I've spent a lot of time with. My relationship with Drew Brees is kind of how I first, well, actually got to know Sean when I was a coach at Syracuse. He was the coordinator with the Giants, and our relationship just kind of grew. And, I think, him signing Drew after Drew was with us in San Diego, we had a lot of conversations, and I've been around, him quite a bit. But no, I'm not going to compare myself to Sean. I mean, look at what Sean's done in this league, and it's fun to go and compete against a really good football team. Now, I'm going to compete my ass off against Vance Joseph, who I think's one of the best, if not arguably the best defensive coordinator in the league, the way you look at that defense. I'm going to have fun doing that, but at the end of the day, it's the players, and it's going to be Tyler Guyton blocking, Nick Bonita, and George and CD going up against Surtain, and more than anything else, that's the battle.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Hey, Brian, how do you, game plan? How much does it affect when you face a pass rush where there's 5 guys with at least 3 sacks? Obviously, you mentioned Benito and Cooper, but how kind of multifaceted their pass rush is from like a blocking perspective?
Yeah, they force your hand, Garrett. There's certain fronts that they play where they know what you're going to do. They know you have to go, 5-on-5, and we do a good job around here of trying to game plan that stuff, but they make it difficult. It's a well-coordinated, well-orchestrated thing. What they do is they take the interior defensive linemen and they're playing attack. They're very different. They're 3-4, but they're very different than Carolina, who was kind of read and react. These guys are going north and south and trying to knock the interior lineman back into the quarterback's face so that Cooper and Nick can come off the edges. It's very well coordinated, and it's extremely difficult. Nick's got, 8 sacks, and they've got 34 or 35, in 7 games. That's outstanding. So it's going to be a hell of a challenge, and in the noise, it makes it even more. So we have to, put together a great plan, but it won't be easy. And they do a nice job of trying to affect quarterbacks.
And you've talked about hunting for deep shots, really effective at that last week against Washington. Does that kind of change how much that's part of the plan and just the different types of passes you have with Dak going in against a defense that speeds guys up a little faster?
No, I don't think so, because, again, what they do, which is smart, I understand it, because of their pass rush, they like to play a lot of press man-to-man. And so, we'll see what they do with Patrick, who they match him on, if they match him at all. I think they will, but we'll see. But yeah, they want to rush the passer, and so they want to disrupt the timing. So I'm quite certain they're going to be very comfortable. They do it against Cincinnati and teams like that have elite weapons like we do, and so it'll be a fun matchup to watch.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Brian, Javante has talked about the last couple years in Denver that he didn't feel like he was fully himself still after the ACL tear. When you guys are scouting guys, how much does a post-ACL recovery timeline kind of factor in, especially with running backs?
Yeah, Joe, I think, when you look at it, it's, 10, 12, 15 years ago, it was like people thought their careers were over. And now we've all learned it's not. It does take time. Each position's a little bit different. Running backs and corners are maybe different than offensive linemen and things like that. But when we dove into the background of the young man, there was no question in our mind that he was going to be back to normal. And we didn't know if that'd be day 1, day 2. I don't know if today he feels like he's back to normal. I hope there's even more room for improvement because he's really good. But I think that was the main thing for us, and the understanding of with these injuries now, it's like, yeah, there's a process, and it's going to take 8, 9, 10 months sometimes. But we bet right.
One of his first runs was obviously one where he ran over Marshawn Lattimore. Running backs can be kind of momentum-based, I feel like. How important is it for him specifically to kind of have that tone-setting run like he did, and what does it do for others on the offense when he does have a run like that?
Yeah, they love it. They love it. And I think, what he pointed out to me, which was cool, was really the reason Marshawn was there is because George did a great job coming down and cracking the safety. So the safety was trying to fit, and George did a great job. We talk about, everybody being a part of the running game. George did a great job of digging out the safety, and but it's a shot in the arm, man, when you run as physical as he does. And I just think it sends a message to, DBs in this league. They're put on, the field to mostly cover, and it sends a message that, hey, if you see 33 coming at you, you better get down pretty low.
Scott.
Saudis, The Athletic. Brian, just to go back to Sunday for a second, you mentioned winning the toss allowed you guys to kind of control which way, how you approach going into the sun. I was just curious, is there a preference? Could you expand on, do you want to be going into it in the third or fourth quarter? Would you rather have your quarterback looking into it as opposed to your receivers? How do you kind of make that decision?
Yeah, I'm not dodging the question. I'll answer it to a point. I'm not going to tell you our strategy because there's going to be teams that come in and they're like, oh, okay, well, let's listen to Shotty and hear what he says, and then we'll follow his deal. But it's something that we think about, and again, I think, we're aware of it, like we said, and but there was also, the fact that I felt really good about the week of practice on offense and the openers, and we felt good about the fact that, we could go down and generate some points, and so that wasn't the only factor, but without giving away too much of our, strategy of that, it's factored in, and we have meetings about it, and we talk about it, and we debate it, and it just so happened to work out this week for us.
And then looking ahead, we all kind of know Brandon Aubrey and the power that he's shown with his leg. With the thin air, how does that kind of alter, if at all, how you approach end-of-half situations, and how much time is actually enough time to go down and score?
Yeah, again, I think we've shown, and I'm very confident in our ability to move the ball however far we need to get into range. There's different factors that you would take into account. Do you get the ball first? Do you not get the ball first? Maybe how many plays have you had, different things like that. But the only thing I expect to be a little different is that target line that we normally get of like the 50. Might be at like the 40-ish, and I might have to be like, well, which one? Across the 50 or like behind the 50? And so I might have to get that clarified from Nick.
Looking back on it, when you were offensive coordinator and a consultant here, how much do you think helped you develop a good relationship with Dak?
When I was a consultant, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with Dak, just out of respect for Kellen and Nuss, who I think are great coaches. Like, I didn't have a whole lot to add to Dak. He was getting great coaching anyways, and of course I was friendly. I mean, I'm a friendly guy, you know that. But when I became a coordinator, it obviously changed, and then I was going to be very involved along with Mike and Scott Tolzien and guys like that. And the more time you're around somebody, I think I was able to show probably my true personality to Dak, and him, show his true personality. Plus, we butted heads on things, which is part of building relationships and things like that. And we still laugh and butt heads at times. Like I said, I called a bunch of shots last game. He's getting the shit knocked out of him, and he's like, really? But so we can have those disagreements. But it was more so the 2 years as the coordinator, more so than the year as a consultant.
We good?
Thanks, guys.